The zipper screamed as my mother shut the suitcase, smiling like she'd just sealed a promise. My name is Elena Harper. I'm 34. When did love start sounding like an invitation with conditions? She didn't look at me when she said it. Eyes on the luggage tag, fingers smoothing the ribbon I'd tied years ago. Adults only, she said lightly. Your kids would ruin everything. My father nodded, already scrolling, already gone. My sister laughed too loud. A joke passed between them like a private note slid under a door. The airport smelled like coffee and impatience. Wheels hummed. Announcements layered over each other until words lost meaning. My son pressed his palm into mine. My daughter traced the seam of my coat, quiet the way children get when they sense something has shifted but don't know where. Have a wonderful trip, I said. My voice behaved. That surprised me. The scarf at my neck, blue frayed at the edge, had traveled more miles than any of us. I felt its weight, the way it warmed and tightened when I swallowed. My mother kissed the air near my cheek. No eye contact. No pause. As they walked away, their laughter floated back, thin and bright. I watched it fade into the crowd and realized something settle inside me. Soft, precise, irreversible. Some doors don't slam. They close quietly and you finally hear the lock. The lock clicked inside my chest, then everything went very still. I stood there longer than I needed to, watching their backs dissolve into uniforms and glass. The scarf slid loose at my throat. I wrapped it once around my wrist. An old habit, feeling the fabric bite just enough to keep me present. Silence pooled after them, thick as snow. My phone vibrated. Not theirs yet. A bank alert. Another. The sound was small, polite. Almost apologetic. I moved to the windows where planes waited like animals trained to leave without sentiment. My reflection hovered in the glass, doubled. Me and the version they preferred. I touched the screen, thumb steady. Names blurred into icons. The shared account sat there, obedient, familiar. 8 years of transfers. Upgrades. Family. I'd labeled it that myself. A woman beside me whispered into her headset, promising someone she'd be right there. Her voice cracked on right. I wondered who taught us that timing is love. I removed my name. The app asked if I was sure. I was. Another vibration. A softer time, reservations refreshing than not. I imagined the moment at the counter. The pause, the tilt of a head, the wrong smile. Boarding passes dissolving like breath on glass. My phone began to ring. I didn't answer. Across the terminal, a child laughed. Unafraid. I tightened the scarf and turned toward the exit, carrying a calm that felt borrowed, until it didn't. The ringing followed me, stitched to my pocket like a second pulse. I stepped outside into the drop-off lane where engines idled and the air tasted metallic. Silence lived between the sounds. Doors thudding, heels striking, a baby's hiccuped cry. I pressed my phone face down against my thigh and felt it buzz again. Then again. The scarf slipped from my wrist. I caught it, knotted it tighter, the fabric warm now, almost alive. Mom? A voice cracked behind me. Not mine. A stranger's. I flinched anyway. My son tugged my sleeve. Are we late? He asked. His shoes squeaked on the painted line. My daughter counted cars, whispering numbers like spells. I crouched, eye level, smoothing my son's collar. Touch grounded me. This was real. This was now. Inside, the public address system chimed. Boarding groups called, names swallowed by static. My phone lit up with a voicemail preview. Please pick up. Then another. This isn't funny. The third had no words, just breath and the scrape of something set down too hard. I imagined the counter again. My mother's smile thinning, my father's voice rising, the clerks practiced sympathy. A chair waiting for them to sit. Waiting. Are we flying? My daughter asked. I stood breath measured. Yes, I said. And meant something larger than tickets. Yes echoed longer than it should have. We re-entered the terminal and the sound thickened. Rolling bags, the soft scold of shoes, a distant cheer from a gate I couldn't see. I felt every vibration through the floor, a map of departures humming under my feet. My phone rang again. I let it ring. Silence is a choice you make over and over. At security, a man joked about forgetting his belt. The agent didn't smile. A woman behind us sighed, not at me, at the world. My son slipped his hand into mine, smaller than it used to be. I held on. Touch steadied the picture. Another call. This time a text pushed through the glass. What did you do? Then softer from my sister. Can we talk? A decoy maybe. Or a bridge. I didn't step on it. We sat at the gate. Our gate. The chairs were molded to patience, gray and resigned. The chair beside me looked like it was waiting for a confession. I ignored it. I tied the scarf around my wrist again, feeling the fray catch my skin. Boarding in 15, the speaker sang. My phone vibrated once more. A voicemail preview expanded on its own as if curious. My mother's voice leaked out, controlled, brittle. Elena, please. This is humiliating. I watched my children trace airplanes in the air, laughing at nothing. Something tightened then cleared. Humiliating is a word that travels well. It followed me into the jet bridge where the air changed, cooler, recycled, faintly sweet with cleaning spray. The line moved in fits. So, breathe. Move. My phone stayed quiet for a full minute and the quiet felt heavier than the ringing. I imagined them huddled at the counter, my mother's smile rearranged into something pleading, my father bargaining with a voice he only used on clerks. I scanned our passes. The beep was clean. Final. On board, the cabin lights glowed like a held breath. I slid my bag under the seat, fingers brushing the scarf tucked inside, blue edge, familiar weight. My daughter pressed her nose to the window. My son counted rows, whispering the numbers wrong on purpose. Atmosphere does that, it makes children brave. My phone woke again, not with a call but a notification. Automatic, impartial. Access updated. Another followed, then another, the system tidying itself. Social things began to unravel. Shared albums grayed out, a family chat blinking you are no longer a member. The exposure was quiet, almost courteous. A flight attendant smiled and asked if we needed water. I nodded. My mouth was dry but my hands were steady. The doors were still open. The doors stayed open longer than I expected, like the plane was giving someone time to change their mind. A man ahead of us argued softly about an overhead bin. The flight attendant listened, nodding, hands folded, trained calm. I recognized it. I'd worn it for years. My phone vibrated again then stopped. I checked. Missed calls stacked like receipts. A new voicemail appeared, not from my mother this time. My father. No greeting. Just my name said once wrong. The scarf slipped from my bag when I reached for a tissue. I caught it mid-fall. Wrapped it around my wrist. Blew against my skin. Proof. A text from my sister slid in, careful as a note passed in class. They're saying you sabotaged them. Another followed, faster. Everyone's asking. Social gravity at work. Stories forming without me. I didn't correct them. Silence edits better than explanations. Outside the window, a fuel truck rolled past, patient, inevitable. The captain's voice came on, warm and ordinary, listing facts like they were promises. My children buckled themselves in. My daughter asked if Grandma would be mad. Probably, I said. Honest. Come. The cabin lights dimmed a notch. The doors began to close. The door sealed with a sound like certainty. Applause rippled somewhere behind us. Someone's ritual, not mine. I watched the latch through the narrow window and felt the moment harden. My phone buzzed once more, then went dark as the signal thinned. Silence arrived the way weather does, all at once. The plane pushed back. The scarf tightened around my wrist without help, the frayed edge pressing a small, grounding sting. I breathed into it. Touch, then stillness. I imagined them now beyond security, the realization landing late. The hotel desk blinking red. The card declined with a polite chime. A call placed to an account that no longer knew them. Exposure doesn't shout. It waits until there's nowhere else to look. A notification squeezed through before the last bar vanished. An email subject line from our attorney, scheduled weeks ago, sent automatically. Update. Trust administration access. I hadn't planned the timing. Life sometimes does you favors. My son leaned over the armrest. Are we okay? He asked, not scared, checking. Yes, I said. The word fit better now. The engines spooled. The runway stretched ahead, long and honest. As the plane began to move, my phone went completely quiet. I smiled, not wide. Just enough. The lift came gently like a promise kept. Clouds gathered beneath us, soft and indifferent. My daughter clapped once, surprised by herself. My son leaned back, finally letting his shoulders drop. I loosened the scarf and laid it across my lap, smoothing the frayed edge. It had done its job. So had I. At cruising altitude, the captain spoke again. Distance, direction, time. Facts that don't bend for anyone. I thought of my mother's word family, how she used it like a key that only fit one lock. I thought of the accounts I'd built quietly, the trust administered properly now, legally clean, my children named without apology. Financial revenge isn't loud. It's paperwork done on time. When the signal returned, my phone filled with noise I didn't open. Missed calls. Messages. Someone had posted a photo from the airport. Smiles gone, caption vague. Social gravity settling into a new shape. Archived it all. Dignity can be in action. A flight attendant knelt and handed my kids wings. Plastic silver. They pinned them to their shirts like medals. I looked out the window and saw my reflection, single this time. Some trips are for adults only. This one was for the truth.